Hey guys, Happy New Year, and I hope you had wonderful holidays with your family. So, New Year, new army, new game, new paint. Let's jump right into it. Welcome to the Bear and the Brush. Kutami was so kind to sponsor this box of Champions of the Stag from the Song of Ice and Fire game. And if you want to win this box, just leave a comment down below why you're so excited to start a new game or a new army this year. I will be giving this away on the last day of January. And please remember, the hashtag Butterfly for Hannah competition is still running. Everything you need to know you'll find in the description. I will be giving away this nice paint set from Scale Artists. And I will be using this to paint today's model, the bannerman from this box. Let's take a closer look into the box. There are like the playing cards and the movement tray and 4 miniatures. Luckily they are all pre-assembled, which I really like, and the casting quality is quite alright. I don't like the plastic though, it's a little bit too bendy and mold lines are pretty hard to remove. Today we will be painting with only Scale Artist colors, but I may have snuck in a little surprise. As far as I can tell, these models don't have any gaps, but the mold lines are pretty nasty and I think kinda hard to remove. Since I don't know much about these minis, I decided to give them a good scrub because I don't know if there's any release agent on them. Scrubbity, scrubbity, scrub, scrub. I mostly prime my models black, and at the moment I'm using the Acryl primer, which I really like. I always add a few drops of Army Painter Airbrush Medium into my bottles because it's a mixture of thinner and flow improver. And I added the pressure valve from Harder & Steenbeck to my airbrushes. So my compressor is running at 50 psi and I regulate the pressure on my airbrush directly to my needs, which is a really handy process. I got a lot of blasting power for things like primer and stuff, and I can instantly turn it down to just minimum for little details. And then it's just priming black. I always go down from below at first, then put the mini down and spray it all the way from the top, just in plain black. And when it's dry, I add some whiting from above, just in a 45-degree angle, not straight top down, so I get more like a gray gradient. Testing paints is also really important for me. Before I put anything on a model, I usually put it on a test model or on my hand. With the texture on my hand, I can pretty easily see how thick the paint is and how easily it flows off the brush. I don't have a plan for painting this mini at this stage. I know some things will be brown and some things will get other colors, but I'm not quite sure what to do now. So I start with base coating just the horse and all the fur things on his back. I'm also pretty sure that I want all the cloth to be red, and so I start with the purple just to give it a nice shadow color to start from. There are many ways you can build up from a dark to a lighter red, or even go the other way around from a light to a dark into the shadows, but I always prefer the dark up to highlights method. So I've just been painting minis for a bit over a year now, and tools like this simple color wheel really help me to find good color combinations and make up a paint scheme for my miniature. They are really cheap, and if you're struggling with this like I am, just get one of these. And now to the fun part. With all the, or most of all the base coats down, I can just build up layer after layer after layer and start blending in the highlights. For the blue, I just added a little bit of white and highlighted a small area. And I went from there with more white to an even smaller area to just build up the highlights gradually. I really enjoy the layering process more than the wet blending process. For the muscles on the horse, I just added some white to my base brown and some more white and some more white and built up the muscles more and more and more. The most fun I definitely had with the cloth. I didn't add any white, but I added red to the purple and started building up highlights from there. And I even added more red and went with bigger highlights, the normal painting process of layering. And the good thing is you can do nothing wrong. If you paint an area that shouldn't be touched by this color, just correct it. Correct it later, no problem. And if there's a separation between the layers, just take your midtone, thin it down all the way to glaze consistency and glaze over all the layers. The glazing will combine all those layers. I always do that step at the end to give it a more uniform finish. One thing really stood out to me while using this paint, and that's the consistency. The consistency of thickness. They may not be pure pigment stuff like it's in Chimera, for example, but one thing I really like about these paints is they all are kind of the same thickness. You can really thin them down to a basically dirty paint water to make the finest glazes and the pigments don't split. I can really recommend these colors. They're amazing to work with once you get a hang of it, how to use them. I even went back in again to correct issues on a lot of parts. You can't be perfect the first time. Just correct the mistakes you made and go on from there. And I decided to do a second pass on my highlights to give them more of a punch. Also taking an even brighter red, I highlighted all the edges. Like on the cloth and on the banner and everywhere I got an edge, I used this brighter red to just punch it even more, give it contrast. Contrast is the most important part, and if you think you have enough contrast, add more contrast. When you put on the paint the first time, you might think, oh, that is a bit too bright. But let it dry, let it sit, let the layers combine, and you will see putting it on with a real punch makes a difference. I also enjoy putting time and effort into the small details. Try to hit a little white reflection into those tiny eyes with your brush. And don't cheat, use your size 0 or size 1. You can make it, but you have to maybe try 3 or 4 times. But it's just paint. Don't be afraid of paint. And sometimes just step out of your comfort zone. I just told you a few minutes ago that I don't like wet blending and I prefer layering. But I stepped out of my comfort zone here and tried wet blending on the shield. It didn't work out as well as I wanted it to, but hey, I made the step. I got out of my comfort zone. You will not get better and faster if you always just repeat the same stuff. Try something new. And since it worked pretty okay on the shield, I tried it again on the antlers and it worked out pretty fine too. Just put on paint, don't wait for it to dry, put on the next paint and mix them together directly on the mini. Easy. Sometimes people talk about dry brushing like it's a beginner's technique and cheap and easy to do. And they may be right, but I think good dry brushing also needs time and needs mastering it. I just started using these Artis Opus dry brushes And they are actually not dry, they are more like damp, because you have a small dampening pad. And actually the results you get with these are amazing. At last, painting in all the nice details in white, all the stacks on the banner and the shield, I really wanted them to pop out, so I painted them in white. So let's make a small test. Can you make metallic paint from scale artist colors? With a little cheating, you can. Okay, you got me. I've cheated. I did not only use scale artist colors, but I also used the Pro Acryl metallic medium, because it makes such nice metal colors and it looks so good combined with these acrylic paints from scale artist. Sorry. Well, and here we go. I just mixed up a silver and a gold, and I started with the silver on all the small nails and stuff all around the miniature. Added a trim on the shield, and then I went on and painted the armor. Like the whole armor in gold, the armor on the horse in gold, and the ornaments and the chainmail in silver. Pretty easy process, and if you find the right mixture from the metallic medium and the paint you want to tint the metal with, it's just straightforward and it looks really good and it has really great coverage. But it lacked a bit of definition, so I just went in with Tamiya panel liner and really subtle tried to hit the crevices on the armor, like all the deep parts, and of course on the chainmail. Last thing to do is build a nice base. I just used some PVA and some grass flock and put it on there. Of course, there are so many nice tufts from Geek Gaming Scenics, Gamer Grass and whatnot, and I also added them to the base. Some flowers, some higher grass to hide this ugly green thing the horse is standing on, just some flowers with complementary colors, and that's it. Okay, breaking news. We will remodel our home and I will get 10 square meters of hobby space just for myself. And if you want to accompany on this journey building the darn thing, please subscribe to this channel. Thank you. Now back to the mini and the big reveal. Also base rim painted black. I really hope you enjoyed the painting process as much as I did. And thanks again to Kutami for sponsoring this box that will be given away last day of January. Also, please check out the link to their shop down below. Remember guys, #butterfly4Hannah if you want to get this paint set. Also, you will be doing something good for mental health and spread awareness. Thanks again for watching guys. See you on the next one. Bye.